around on the truck. Swing gate has a couple of different purposes. One, I still get to maintain my hitch, which was a big deal for me because I didn't want to eventually start pulling the boat around. But this also works as a rear bumper. So if somebody wants to rear end me or whatever else, they're gonna hit like a $600 swing gate as opposed to like caving in the whole back in the truck. But it's also a pusher, so that way I can back up to small trees and push them down, which is important for being able to turn around on some of these real tight mountain roads. Because you get locked in and like you're like, I need to go this way, and you can either reverse for billions of miles, or you can kind of do the whole Mr. Bean thing, and you don't want it up against your truck if you can help it. So this helps push that thing over. So some bobcat lure. The bed of the truck is kind of set up for being able to not have to unload and load everything in the truck every single time I go out. So I have a deck system. I keep tackle over here, and then you want to come here and get this. Everything else you need. There's fishing rods, pack grass. It's duck season right now, so we got the shotgun in it. It's also grouse season. All good stuff, and it just stays there pretty much the whole time. Whenever we put the deck system in, which is great, the problem is that Toyota has their 110 outlets inside the truck, which I wanted to maintain, but it's right here. So we had to pull this thing out, drill a hole in these ammo cans, which I'll kind of get into here in a second, and mount it to the outside, which is great because it's actually a little bit more convenient than even having it on there. You can plug stuff right here without having to be at that 90-degree angle, which I really like. But one gripe about the bed setup is that this gap right here is only about 18 inches, which makes life difficult for me putting stuff into the bed. Yeah. So come here, you can get close to these. So this is what they call ammo cans. This is just like random rope knickknacks. The other side over here, so tree saver, snatch block, extra shackles, things like that. Rooftop tent. It's Smitty built. I've timed myself to set it up. I average about 8 minutes. But it's always by myself, and it's almost always like freezing cold outside whenever I do it. But to put it back up, it's 8 minutes. To set it up, it's about 5. And so I can be out here by myself. I've actually camped in this exact spot. Throw it out, hop in, you're good to go. Oh, you can go. Here, run, go. One thing I really like about the bed rack is the fact that I can put all this stuff on the side, and it keeps it out of the bed, so you maintain your bed space, which is already in limited supply. But you get a high lift jack here. We walk around over this side. Pioneer tools. You probably think that like a lot of people put stuff like this on the side of the truck, and you're like, how often do they use it? I literally use this stuff multiple times a week. Because like for one, a shovel is just like really handy to have. We were out hunting in out in northeast Washington, and we wanted to have a fire, and there was not a lot of like open space, so we were taking the shovel out and digging a hole so that way the fire would stay contained and wouldn't spread. Axe I use all the time for splitting firewood whenever we're out. Cover for trap sets, all kinds of things. Literally just like the world is your oyster of what you can use an axe for. So probably the most attention-getting addition to the truck is the Snorkel. The Snorkel is not really for water fording. The problem is that whenever you get these new trucks, this isn't just with Toyota, this is with everybody, but like your air intake is actually right in here, which is terrible. I mean, just look at how much dirt and bullcrap is like on the side of my truck. Now in the summertime, you're going down these forest roads that it kicks up a lot of dust. I mean, I can stop and take an inch of dust off the back end of my truck in the middle of summertime. Well, you're sucking all of that dirt in, like right here. And so if you want to keep something for a long period of time, that's not what you want to do that's not the air that you want to be breathing into your intake. Even though you have filtration systems and things like that, still it's just not good for anything. So having your air intake up here does a couple of things. For one, it gets it out of that dirt, and number two, it gets a good clean air that's pressurized and it's cold. So this is a true cold air intake. Just kind of like your hood scoops and stuff on old muscle cars and stuff. It's the same kind of idea. So you're getting better gas mileage, more performance. It's probably negligible. The main thing is just getting clean air. So the other kind of conspicuous item on the hood of the truck is a ham radio antenna. This is actually really easy to trade out. This is my short range antennas for vehicle-to-vehicle communication, run around town, things like that. I keep it here for a couple of reasons, but we'll get into that whenever we're actually inside the truck, and I can turn. So you might have watched a field short that I just did not too long ago, where we actually used the winch to pull out this kid that got stuck up here. He was actually stuck just about a mile in from here. But yeah, this bumper I chose specifically for because it was lightweight. Now it still leaves the sides over here open, and maybe in the future we change that out and kind of improve it. But you have external or a light bar here that allows for really bright, or to illuminate your path as you're going in. That was just kind of an addition. It will, just because the bumper came with a cutout, and there's the right bumper with the right weight, the right price that I wanted. And it had a space for a light bar, so I went ahead and threw that on there. You get your shackles, which is great for pulling people out or pulling yourself out. Having, especially if you've ever been cold, wet, in the snow, in the mud, and you know that you have to tie off to some hard point on your vehicle and you have to get down underneath there and do it, not cool. So having these out here is really, which is great, especially for single man operations. I don't have to worry about having a million miles of winch cable out, or control cable out, or having to be right back here at the truck. I can feed that thing out as I'm walking out, tying off the places, and then just kind of step back or get in the driver's seat and winch myself in remotely. It's pretty nice. So these are your BF Goodrich all-terrains, your KO2s. My favorite tire by far. They are not the most expensive tire there is, but they are kind of spendy, at least for me. I'm a generally fairly cheap person. When I bought the truck, I had them put the TRD rims on there, just mainly for aesthetics. And then, but you want to have a good aggressive tire for coming out here and doing stuff, because the last thing you want to do is, like, you have this truck that's all built out, you have the wrong type of tires on there, and you start spinning on things because it's not getting any kind of grip. It's really frustrating. I'm gonna give you a tour of the inside of the truck. This will turn on your bed lights, which are really handy. I've actually put that out on like Instagram. Having those bed lights back there in the this year model of Tacoma is really awesome whenever you're trying to cook, clean, get ready to go in the morning and things like that. Being able to just turn those lights on and blows everything up. It's really good. This is for the light bar up front. So this is my ham radio. The ham radio is it's a big safety feature, so that way when you're out, a lot of times when you're out like this, you're outside of cell phone like communication, like you have no coverage. So the ham allows me to, one, talk to old guys that are out just talking on the radio, who would be able to let somebody know that you're stuck or that you're in trouble or whatever else. You just have that communication with the outside world. It's APRS enabled, and so it's constantly, I can ping my truck and let everybody know where I'm at all the time. It also has the ability to use a SM gate, which is a way that you can text cell phones from this radio itself. So it's pretty handy, especially for wife communications. If something went down, I didn't have a cell phone, the inReach wasn't working, or I was out of messages or whatever else, I can always do it through the ham, which is a little bit, it's kind of wonky. It's not really built for that, but it does work.
I'm taking my camera duty seriously.
All right. The fairly cool aspect of the Tacoma is I use the back seat for ammo storage. So it's like I usually have like a kind of a combat load of ammo at all times, so that way you never get anywhere and forget anything. Keep first aid, my binos back there that are within reach, but that's kind of it, I guess.